everyone. This is Dr. Betty and Amanda Taylor, and we are the Dream Team, part of the Dream Team. And so it's the two of us. You get the two of us today. So I have a question for you. What if, and I'm reading from a quote that I wrote, what if your legacy wasn't something you left behind, but something you lived daily? Why is it that we have to wait to die to leave a legacy behind? And why is it that we don't begin to live our legacy now? That's a question I had a while ago when, when you have people dying in your life. That's when those are the 2x4s, right? And so, did you know that statistically, 95% of the people that get a terminal illness or get the news that they have a terminal illness, they're going to die. They get to face that, completely change their life. And they begin to do the things that they really wanted to do in the first place.
Yeah.
So the question is, why wait? What do you think, Amanda?
We live in this safety and you have to do the right things and keep, it's just this safety and control place of, I don't know what that is, fear or lack or scarcity or what, but we just kind of keep it all constricted and don't really bring out the life. Yeah.
And bring out everything. So I'll tell you something I did. And I don't know if I've shared this with you, but a while ago, I called my family, I called my children, and I said, hey, how would you like to come shopping? And they're like, yeah. Where are we going? I said, to my house. Come shopping at the house. You can take anything you want from the house. I said to my children, and they're like, ooh, really? Yes. And then I called my little brother, Carlos, and I said, how would you like to come shopping? And he said, shopping? What do you mean come shopping? We've never been shopping. And so I said, yeah, come to the house and you can take anything you want, except for my paintings or my sculptures, because those are the only things that I did not give away. And he said, your books? Can I have your books? Because I've been coveting, I had, library that was from floor to ceiling.
You and me both, sister.
Right. And in my books, I wouldn't give them away. And I said, yeah, you can come, just not my doctorate books. And then I have some favorites that like Norton Anthology of American Literature. That's one of my favorite books. And then some of the books from high school like that. And then, but most of them from my master's and my doctorate. He came and he took a bunch of books and then, but they started talking and he said, are you okay? Did you just get some news or something? I said, no, I didn't. I just really want to give away what I have while I'm alive. I don't want to wait until I'm dead. And so today I go to see Alexandria, who's going to be having a baby here soon. And when I go, I see my antiques in her home. And that is her dining room table, and that is her, her bedroom, or a painting or something in the kids or in my brothers or wherever. So it's kind of neat living my legacy now and seeing things that they do that I would have not gotten to see if I would not have done that, which is kind of interesting.
That is. Yeah. And you make a great point because I see it's just I see so many people holding on for dear life. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Holding on for dear life.
And as entrepreneurs, now entrepreneurs is an interesting breed because entrepreneurs are risk takers by trade, right? So we go out and we try something new, and then we go and talk to a client, and if that client says no, then we go to another client, or we reinvent ourselves and we come back, and so there's always a hustle that is with this entrepreneur. And yet, why is it that 95% of the business owners in the United States of America do not have a generational transfer, wealth transfer strategy?
That this is the thing that I am most passionate about, is building that out And, we're on the brink of the largest wealth transfer in history. And I look at my generation and the ones that are about to inherit this, and we don't know what we're doing.
We don't.
We're so undereducated, underconfident, and really have no tools and resources and have not been taught adequately the way to take it and grow it and build that legacy. It is a huge problem that, which is why I built an entire platform to educate people on how to actively build your legacy. I don't want someone who, I'm going to give it to you and you go, yeah, you have a license and you're a professional, but you know what you get paid to do is sell the product that you get paid to sell. I want to control how my money grows, what assets I can have, how this cash flows, how this appreciates. I want to know. And not everybody does, and I get that, but man, we got to pay attention. Things are changing every day, more and more as we go into this new just world that we're living in. And we have to be awake and aware and involved. And as women, especially, we're going to control the majority of what's coming in this wealth transfer. And we have traditionally sat back and let someone else take the reins on what happens in our finances. And I say no more. I say let's step up, let's step into our power, let's educate ourselves and lose that, I'm not supposed to do this, I'm not good at this, I don't know, that imposter syndrome we were talking about the last time,
Yeah.
and truly enter into this new space of where we have power, we have control, and we can invest with our values. We can intuitively know what is good for us, our children, our families, our country, and our community. There you go, soapbox.
No, but you're so right. When my father passed away, my father had a transportation company in Colombia, and my brothers said, you're the banker, and you've done so many different things. So why don't you take care of the business? And so when I went back to Colombia to take a look at it, my dad did not prepare well, and because my father did not prepare well, I had thought that he was going to, and I never asked the question. So listen to this. I never asked the question. And as a result, I had to go back to Colombia many, many times, and I had to handle a lot of things all on my own. Today, I have a trust and I have a banker that is part of that trust so that my family doesn't have to make the decisions and it's all delineated and so forth. But I had to learn the hard way. Like 95% of the viewers that are watching this will have to learn unless you do something different.
Yeah, and do it now.
And do it now. So let's talk about the steps, because I've spoken at the American Bankers Association about this topic, and I have many a friend that are entrepreneurs that I know that don't have a transfer strategy. I had one VIP client, one of our biggest clients when I was in banking. I feel like I will always be in banking, or in finance anyway. But one of our biggest clients, he thought that he had the rest of his life. Well, he did, except the rest of his life was only 24 hours. And so he came in and he was doing some things with his account. His wife needed to do a signature and he just left it. We'll do it another time. He died. And you have no idea how much my bankers had to battle so that the wife didn't have to go through hell, to be part of this huge multi-million dollar account, and all because he didn't make that signature.
Yeah.
We have people that don't have trusts. We have people that don't have anything written out. It's like writing your business plan. When you start a business, you need to write your exit strategy first. You need
Yep.
to do those simultaneous, right? And you and I have not talked about this, and we're just impromptu doing this, but I just feel like you've got to figure out if you're going to be starting your business. Are you building this business to sell? Are you
Yep.
building this business so that your children can
Yep.
inherit it? And if you are, have you talked to your children to make sure
Do
that
they want
no?
it?
Most kids don't want to inherit the parents' business in today's environment. The kids just want to do their own thing. And the parents are thinking, and now they get old, they don't have a generational transfer strategy. And the kids are saying, well, let's just fire sell it.
Yes. Yes. I know. And you get me
It's
all riled up.
crazy because we work so hard. Starting a business is not easy. Getting the right format, getting the right advisors to help us start this business or growing the business, and then going from the first curve to the second curve that we talked about last week.
Yeah.
And so it's so critically important. So can we talk about when you take on a business?
Mhm.
If and I've got a client right now that is starting a brand new business and they have experience and all of that. The first question I asked was, what is your model? Are you starting the business to sell, or it's like a, I hate to say the prenup because it's kind of a sore topic, but it shouldn't be. It's a prenup with yourself.
Yes, it is. And I've heard it also said, one of the most expensive mistakes you can make in your business is who you go into it with. And that is true too. When you talk about a prenup, starting a business, this isn't a handshake deal. You
No.
have to know, you have to plan for the end,
Yes.
whatever that is, whether
Yes.
it's good or bad between the two of you. Like you said, are you going to sell? Are you going to get acquired? Are you going to give it to the kid? Right. Whatever you're going to do. And so many people don't know that, don't plan for it, don't even think about it from the get-go. And it, if you don't have a target, if you don't have a destination, how do you know where you're going? How do you know what metrics to set for yourself? And you think you have time. Everyone just thinks they have time,
Yes.
and you don't. And I saw it happen with my when my grandparents passed and my parents having to scramble and nothing was done and all the probate and all the things. And so luckily they learned their lesson and did everything. And it's great and that's taken care of. But how many people don't? I had a very good friend. I don't know if I told you this or someone else. She was in her 30s. Her husband passed away unexpectedly. 3 kids. She didn't know they didn't have life insurance. And we can't assume anything about this life, about our business, about our family. Nothing is promised. And it boggles my mind that we have put off planning so many things in our business and in our life. And that's why Gen X, my generation, is so underfunded for their retirement.
Yeah. Absolutely. So then back to the original question, and we'll kind of close with this question for everyone. And this is again this quote that I actually posted this quote on LinkedIn. What if your legacy wasn't something you left behind, but something you lived daily? I think when we have someone pass away that is close to us, that's when we begin to think about legacy, or when there's a jolt, or when we sell a company, when we buy a company, when things happen in our lives, when we move from one location to the other. A lot of people are moving because of retirement. And you mentioned, the age group of the multitude of people in the United States of America are much older now. And so people are really thinking about this. And I'm getting a lot of people that are wanting to get into the second curve and wanting to understand, how do I get there?
Yeah.
And how is it that I uh, get to that second curve? And so we will leave you with that question. And so the question is, what if your legacy wasn't something you left behind, but something you lived daily? So if you have any questions about how to get there, you have Amanda Taylor that you can make a phone call to, and you have Dr. Betty as well. So thank you so much for being with us. Any last words, Amanda?
It's time to start living and not waiting to die. That was a great reminder that, we have the potential to make impact here every day. So let's do it.
Yes, we do. So let's do it. Thank you so much. Have a super fantastic day.